Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Confidence is Overrated podcast. This is a podcast for women who are done waiting and are tired of procrastinating their dreams and are finally ready to take bold action in their life. Today's episode is all about the identity that you outgrew but that you haven't let go of yet. All those identities, all those things that we say that we are, but that are not serving us anymore for the things that we want to create in our future. Here's the truth. You cannot create new results from all identities. You cannot build your next chapter based on all those beliefs that shaped your life before, that kept you safe and comfortable before. So let's get into it. Let me start with this. You are not stuck. You are simply acting from an old version, an old identity that you have already outgrown. Maybe you have already noticed this clash in yourself. Your desires, the things that you want now for your life, have evolved. Your dreams have expanded. And your identity, the person you believed you were, the person you believe you are, hasn't caught up with those new desires. You might want the new job, the new career, that creative project that you keep thinking about, the visibility that you want to create, or the business that you want to build. But the thing is this, you are still operating from the identity that was built when you were in survival mode. It might be people pleasing mode, it might be approval seeking mode, or perfectionist mode, but that mismatch, it's exhausting. That mismatch between who you used to be and what you want now for your future is exhausting. You need to align who you are now to the new things that you want to create in your life. James Clear, author of Atomic Habits, says every action that you take is a vote for the type of person that you want to become. That means that you don't add because of who you are. You add because of who you think you are, who you believe to be. That's what decides, that's what determines the actions that you take. And so if you want to change the actions, the behaviors, the habits that you have right now, you have to start changing the identity of the person that you believe that you are. And it's a cycle because you start identifying yourself as someone who takes action, as someone who do the things that they say that they are going to do. And then you start doing those things, and those things create the evidence that you are that person and that identity is true. Psychologist Carol Webb research on growth mindset and how we can change and learn new abilities prove something. Your identity is something that you learn through action. It's not something that is fixed. It's not something that you are born with. It's something that you build and that you learn through your life. At any moment that you decide to, you can change who you believe you are. You can change who you are at any age, at any moment, with any small action that you decide that you will start taking. And neuroscience backs this too. Your brain is built on prediction. It predicts what it thinks that will happen and the things that are important to you. It uses your past identity as a template for future behavior. So if you want to change who you are, the things that you do, you have to start by giving your brain a small evidence of the new person that you want to become, of that new identity that you want to build. That's why you can want to create a lot of new things in your life, but still you are still acting as the old version of you because your brain is taking all those past behaviors as templates for future behavior. And it's not because you are weak, but because your brain is loyal to familiarity and not fulfillment. It's looking for the comfort, for the safety, and it recognizes it in anything that is known to it, that feels known, that feels safe. Let me give you a few common examples of this happening in our life and see which one is the one that resonates the most with you and the ones that make your stomach do that little draw, the one that is with you. It could be the good girl identity. You don't want to disappoint anyone. You are afraid of being too much. And so you keep yourself small. You say yes to others even when you want to say no. This identity protects you from conflict, but it also prevents you from expansion, from being true to the things that you want to create in your life. Another one is the quiet one identity, or I'm just quiet. I'm just shy. I don't make noise. Maybe you grew up reserved and you were told to be polite, or that you were the listener, that you were the observer, that you were simply the quiet one. But now you want to be seen, you want to be shared, you want to speak out, you want to share, you want to start creating, you want to post the video or launch that project or make the offer. And the old identity whispers, but that's not who you are. That's not you. But actually, it is you now, because if those are the things that you want to start creating in your life now, you can be the person who shows up, the person who is seeing and heard, and the person who posts online or made the offer or is creative. You can start creating those habits to become that. Another identity that is very common is the hard worker identity. You are productive, you are responsible, you are the one who gets things done. But maybe you are called to slow down, you are called to rest, to be more creative, to be more relaxed without feeling guilt for not doing something all the time. That identity might have given you success before, but it has become a cage because you feel like you always need to keep going, like you cannot stop, because that's not who you are. You are the person who is always doing more. It could also be the overthinking identity. I relate with this one. And this one is sneaky because it feels like it's a personality trait. It feels like, I say it all the time, I just overthink everything. No, it's not true. I have learned to overthink everything because it feels safer to think about things than to take action about them. But this identity is outdated to the person I want to become, to the person who takes more action, who goes after their dreams, who is doing things in the world. So I have to start overriding that identity of I'm the overthinking. I just overthink everything. I start taking action even when I don't feel ready, even when I don't feel like things are perfect, yes, even when I don't have everything figured out. I have to start going to override that action, to become a person who takes action instead of a person who only thinks and overthinks everything. Another identity that is very common to everyone is the people pleaser. This identity once helped you probably protect relationships. It's the one that helps you not make conflict. It keeps your relationships safe because you are always pleasing others. But it cuts your authenticity, it cuts your time, it cuts your dreams, it cuts you caring about yourself more than you care about everyone else. And this identity, I think is the one that we have all say at some point, the I know that type of person. I know creative. I know discipline. I am no athletic. This was for me a big one. I know an entrepreneur. I know good at math. I know good at business. I know someone who posts online. These are all self-protective identities, stories that we tell ourselves, but they are not true. They are not facts, because you can become any type of person that you want to become if you are willing to work for it, willing to take the action of that type of person. So whenever you understand that you can create a growth mindset, and that means that your identity can be flexible, that you can learn new skills, that you can change, mold your identity depending on the goals that you have, depending on the life, the style of life that you want to create, you understand that there is nothing fixed about you. You can change any portion, any part of whatever it is that you say that you are. And whenever you say, I'm not that type of person, investigate that sentence. Ask yourself, why? Why can you not be that type of person? Could you become that type of person? What will be the actions, the traits that you will have to start taking, that you will have to start embodying to become that type of person? Because you can change your identity at any moment, at any age, at any time that you decide that you want to do things differently, that you want to start taking the actions of that person who goes after their dreams, or that person who is athletic, or who is good at business, or who shows in line or who posts content or who is creative, you can start embodying those habits, those actions of a person who does that. So if you are still saying all those stories, I know that type of person. I'm the quiet one. I'm a people pleaser. I'm an overthinker. You are dragging around an identity that has expired, an identity that you have outgrown. And that's why it's so important to recognize it, to identify it, then to start changing the story, the identity that you are saying that you are, the story that you have about yourself, about who you are and the things that you can do, and the identity that you have about yourself. For me, there was a time when I can identify myself as someone who needed everything to be perfectly prepared. I needed to have everything planned out before I could do anything. And so often I wouldn't do anything. I will not take action because I was the planner, I was the researcher, I was the one who studied, right? I was the one who was always looking for information and learning more and taking more courses, getting certified. At that point, I thought that I needed more information. And really, what I needed was more courage. I needed to start doing the things messy, imperfectly, without knowing all the details. That's what I really needed. The truth is that identity kept me safe because it allowed me to be comfortable and to be able to learn many things and to be able to grow in many ways. But it also kept me invisible. It also, at some point, became my wall to grow because it gave me safe, but it also kept me trapped in that cycle of always researching, always preparing, always planning, always studying, but never doing. And so one day I realized I was sitting inside a version of myself I didn't even believe in anymore because I continued to make all these plans and I continued to say I wanted to do all these things. I continued to prepare for them and to study and to research more and to plan for them, but I was not doing them. So at some point, I stopped believing that I could do them because I was not taking the actions of a person who do them, who is doing them. The moment I started taking action, no matter how small, the moment I started acting like the future version of me, the person who is actually taking action, the person who is creating things and putting them out there and sending the emails and creating the newsletter and doing the podcast and making the offers and talking with people and letting people know what I do, creating my coaching offers and my mindset offers. That changed everything. That was the moment where everything changed. It was not overnight, but consistently, one small identity shift at a time, one small habit at a time, one small action at a time, that started to change how I saw myself, how I identify myself. So today, I want you to do an identity audit and let's do it together. You can pause this. You can screenshot the questions in the show notes, but I want you to write your journal and write your answers down. The first question, which version of me is running my life right now? And I want you to identify that version, that identity that you have of yourself right now. Do you identify yourself as the good girl, the good person, the overthinker, the quiet one, the one that doesn't make a big deal, the responsible one, the perfectionist, the one that is always preparing and learning? Identify how do you see yourself? How do you describe yourself? If you are not sure, identify all those things that you say that you are not. I am not athletic. I am not good at math. I am not good at business. I I'm not disciplined. I'm not consistent. I'm not organized. Identify all those things that you say that you are not. Notice if that story serving you. Is that story a fad or is something that you can change? Is something that if you make different choices, if you take different actions, is that story something that you can change in your life and will change it and help you become the person that you want to be, accomplish the goals that you want to accomplish, and create the kind of life that you want to create? Then question number 2. I want you to ask which of these identities no longer fits with that person I want to become. And I want you to take a deep breath and let the truth rise. You know if it's serving you or not. So Are any of these identities? I'm the responsible, I'm the overthinking, I'm the quiet one. I'm not the one who does this, or I'm the one who does this. I'm the one who takes care of everything for my family. Are any of those identities something that you outgrew, something that no longer fits with the person that you want to become? Then, question number 3: who is the next version of me? How will you like to identify as in this next chapter of your life? And write down that identity that feels aligned with who you are becoming. It could be I'm creative, I'm a business person, I'm an athlete, I'm a person who takes care of themselves, I'm a confident person, I'm someone who takes action and goes after what they want, I'm someone who takes a space and speak, I'm someone who is honest, I'm someone who is loving, I'm someone who does these scary things, I'm someone who keeps on my word and do the things that I say I will do. And let this identity, this person that you are becoming, feel big. Let it feel a little bit scary, because that means that it's expanding you. That means that it's a little bit outside your comfort zone, and that's good. That means that it's growth. Then, question number 4: what is one action I can take today that aligns with that new identity? Because the thing is this: your identity doesn't change by just thinking about something. It changes through doing. It changes through taking the actions of that person. So you want to change who you are, who you identify as. You have to start acting like the person who does those things. Your identity doesn't change only by thinking about it. It changes by taking the action of the person who does those things. So I want to remind you of this. Your old identity was never wrong. It was simply a protective mechanism. It served a purpose at that time. It kept you safe, and that's a good thing. But oftentimes, safety and expansion cannot live in the same place. And so whenever you want to grow to your next stage, whenever you want to expand the things that you can create in your life, whenever you want to create change in your life, you need to start changing those beliefs, those stories that maybe got you where you are now, but are not the ones that are going to get you where you want to go next. You don't need to hate these old beliefs or this old person that you used to be. You just need to know it's moment to retire her. Thank her, honor her, but don't let her drive your future. A few years ago, probably around 6, 7 years ago, I used to say I was a shy person. And so I would say, oh, I don't post online. I don't interact with others. I'm not loud. But I knew deep down that I wanted to do different things, that I wanted to start engaging with different people and start doing different activities and start posting online. As simple as that. And because I used to say I'm shy, I'm quiet, I'm not creative, that identity felt like an armor. It kept me from being judged. It kept me from being visible. But it also kept me silent. It also kept me smaller than I wanted to be. And so I worked it without noticing at that time. I worked on changing this belief. And instead of always saying, I'm shy, I'm quiet, I don't do this, I started saying, I'm creative, I can show, I'm passionate, I'm creative, I'm a creator, I'm confident, I want to share, I'm a person who can share her journey. And yes, it always feels awkward at the beginning, always feel weird at the beginning, but it's not about talent, it's about identifying as something different and then taking the actions, the small actions of that person. Here's your invitation. Start acting from the identity that you have already outgrown. Start letting who you used to be or the person that you always say that you are or that you cannot be determine what you do next. And instead, step into your future self. Step into the identities that your future self is already living. Every time you make a decision from the new identity, you collapse the gap between who you were and where you were before and who you want to become and where you want to be. So start reducing that gap, start getting closer to that person you want to become and to all those things that you want to create in your life. And to start that, start identifying differently and start taking the actions of that person who does those things. If you want help shifting into your next identity. I want you to answer those 4 questions that I will leave you in the show notes. If you want further help, I'm hosting a live workshop from start to started. How to start taking action when you don't feel ready yet. This Friday on December 5th. I would love to have you there and to work together to start changing the stories that we tell ourselves of the things that we cannot do and the persons that we are not. Thank you for watching or listening to this episode. I'm honored to have you here, and I will see you next week. Bye bye.